gun control and more is the host of Sirius XM's Armstrong Williams show, Armstrong Williams, and founder and president of the Agenda Project, Erica Payne. Okay, guys, the NRA says the fight over guns is far from over. Is that true?
Yes.
They're going to fight to the death, aren't they?
Well, I don't really think they have to fight to death. I think Wayne LaPierre, the fact that their numbers are surging, and
yes, they've skyrocketed to 5 million people.
And people are selling out of guns. It's an indication that Americans are torn. I mean, if you ask people in Newtown whether or not they would prefer having guns or not, I think they're torn. Wayne LaPierre does represent a strong section of this country that does not want to forfeit their guns under any conditions. Now, I do think the background check is something that they should compromise on. I think you could reach a happy medium there.
How about getting rid of those AR-15 guns?
It's not the answer. You know, more handguns kill people than anything else. The issue is, and I think Wayne LaPierre is right again, if you were to pass all the legislation, enforce it, all the background checks, Newtown would not have been prevented. And I think that's the bottom line.
I disagree. I think that that it is over. It's over, and the liberals failed, and decent American policy failed, and the only one who's winning here.
I'll tell you how Americans want gun control.
90% of Americans want gun control, and the NRA controls 95% of Republicans and a few Democrats. That's how it happens, and the liberal establishment is too scared to say what's actually happening here and cut ads that are remotely effective.
Why?
I mean, Mayors Against Illegal Guns has
Bloomberg is
spent
out
a
there
ton of
spending his money,
doing a lot of work, and not saying what actually happened. I mean, if you look at the ads that are out, it's showing one of them that moms demand action. They did an ad that was here are some things that are banned, like Little Red Riding Hood cover with a wine bottle in there, and here are things that are not banned, and it's an AK-47. Here's the thing. What they voted down was a law that would have prevented people who have been in jail for decades for assault, for killing people. They shot down a law that would prevent those people from having guns. So the best ad you could possibly shoot is a picture of a hardened criminal walking out of jail and walking into a gun show.
So why didn't they do that, Ed?
I think liberals are chicken.
No, you need to write that ad and send it to them.
I tried to produce that ad. I explained it on a listserv of a bunch of liberals I'm on, and just the ration of nonsense that got handed at me because people didn't want to refer to people as criminals. They should be formerly incarcerated individuals. I mean, it just kind of went on and on.
You know,
the political correctness has gone berserk.
The political correctness has gone berserk. You're talking about mentally ill criminals having guns.
And terrorists being able to get it,
If I could just say this. Listen, the reason why the president lost and the NRA won was because of the Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. Harry Reid watered down the bill. He watered down assault weapons. He watered down background checks. Why? Because it did not go over well for him in his state of Nevada. The cost would have been too great. So in the end, they made a decision to save their hides in the jurisdictions where they are. And that's the bottom line. You can spend all the money. You can spend all the money in the world.
You're going to have to argue that a tougher bill would have passed. The only bill that had any chance of passing is the one that they put forward. It didn't pass because liberal groups refused to show Americans the consequences of the decisions that they made. It didn't get voted down because it was less strong.
Listen, I agree with it. It was voted down because the people voting, those members in the Senate, unless you influence them, you can spend all the money in the world, nothing's going to change. And they listen to the NRA.
Okay, but that takes us to President Obama because he's getting a lot of criticism, and they're saying that he should be a schmoozer like Lyndon Johnson was and try to get people really on his side and just strong arm the Congress when they don't agree with him.
It's way too late for that. It's 8 years and hundreds of millions of dollars of money too late for that.
Lyndon Johnson had mostly Democrats in the Congress at that time, so it wasn't that hard. Plus, President Kennedy had just been shot, so everybody felt, oh, sorry.
But I think the issue is that Lyndon Johnson, when he really wanted something, he would leave to go to the Senate and sit in Dirksen's office until Dirksen finished his meeting for hours just to negotiate and talk further. That is something that President Obama would never do.
In those days,
but he did it as president. It was less about his ego. He did do it.
This is a media war, and it's hand-to-hand combat on the ground, and Obama has not delivered.
Sarah Palin also spoke at the NRA convention. The last time we heard from her, she was sipping a big gulp in protest of Mayor Bloomberg's big drink ban. Here's her latest gag that made us gag. Watch.
Now I see that the mayor of New York now wants to ban public displays of legal tobacco products. Can I tell you, don't make me do it.
I think dogs in Alaska can hear that voice. Mike Lupica of the Daily News. Lupica, he writes that the NRA audience is perfect for Palin. Mean, dumb, and angry. Is that a stereotype of the NRA, Armstrong?
No, and he should be ashamed for writing something like that. Those people are very intelligent. They know the choices they make. They are able to agree with Sarah Palin when she's right and dismiss her when she's wrong. Totally out of character for him.
But right, and to show how intelligent they are, about 90% of NRA members want criminal background checks.
Yeah.
So why do we have a disconnect between even what the NRA members want and what the Congress is voting for? It's because the leadership of the NRA is spending money to defeat them.
Yes. The Republicans, that's the bottom line.
Here's the biggest myth.
Yeah.
The Republicans, many of them, don't really support the NRA. The NRA is an entity in and of its own. The Republicans, you heard what Pat Toomey said, that many of them voted against the president because they didn't want him to have a victory.
That's disgraceful.
So come on.
That's a disgrace.
Don't blame it all on Republicans.
That's just disgraceful, I think.
The NRA is powerful.
And you know, by the way, 5 million people. There are 300 and some odd million people in this country. What's 5 million people? It's nothing.
You don't have a gun?
I do not have a gun. Why would I have a gun? It's so, ugh. We'll have more with Armstrong Williams. I have a doorman. I don't need a gun. Wait, Armstrong Williams and Erica Payne in just a minute. Armstrong Williams and Erica Payne. Now, the Obama administration is trying to prevent girls under the age of 15 from having access to the morning after pill without a prescription. The FDA cleared the sale of the pill for girls under 15, but the White House is now going against that. Your opinion on that, Erica?
I think it is absolutely preposterous. First of all, there are very few girls under 15 who are sexually active. And so just put yourself in this scenario. If you're a 13-year-old who's sexually active, you get pregnant, what would someone like for them to do about it? You know, do you want to wait until they're pregnant enough that they need an abortion? Do you want to wait and have them have a kid so they drop out of school?
Just because it's available doesn't mean you're going to use it, right?
Well, and most people wouldn't. And so you're looking at, you know, an emergency situation, which is what it is. It's an emergency contraceptive. Yeah. And so put it in emergency situations. And any 13-year-old who's pregnant, to me, that's an emergency situation.
You agree?
No.
What do you say?
Family values, moral. I mean, listen, have we given in totally to the dark side? We're talking about kids 15 years old.
I know, but it's reality, unfortunately.
You know what? It may be reality, but we can change the reality if we're good parents, we have a good community. We shouldn't even be talking about whether these young girls are having sex or not.
Of course we should be talking about it. They are having sex.
And the good thing about the president, you know what the president gets pregnant?
What would you like for her to do? Do you want her to have the baby?
Prevent it.
Great. Okay, we can agree on that. Let's have her not get pregnant. Now, when she does get pregnant, what do you want her to do?
Love the child.
Love the child that she has at 13.
Love him. You love him. You have to love him.
Wait, what if she gets knocked up, God forbid, by a relative? Then what?
Look.
But answer the question. A lot of these girls are being raped and abused by family members.
The family has to make that decision.
The family.
Why do you think someone who is 13 is pregnant in the first place? Because their family failed.
The bottom line,
President family
Obama,
structure that has failed. You want
not
the family structure that has failed
we need to remind family structures about family values.
To make the decision for this 13-year-old. The only reason she's pregnant in the first place is because her family structure has failed.
President Obama has young daughters.
Yeah.
And he's thinking as a father. And he's right, absolutely correct in what he's doing.
Most kids would come to them, but not
most parents would go to their kids. Most parents would. Most kids would go to their parents.
What you're saying is that you would rather an 18-year-old keep her baby than a 13-year-old keep her baby. You want the 13-year-old to have to keep her baby,
but the 18-year-old
I don't want them to get pregnant. My attitude is they should get pregnant in the first place.
Nobody wants them to get pregnant.
No, you don't
we
want
can all agree on that.
Values.
Awesome. Let's
don't
not get pregnant.
The family
Once
values.
you do, let's figure out a reasonable solution to it.
Can you still be preventive and also have family values? Why can't they
prescriptions? Then prescription. Let it be prescription.
But if
what is wrong with that?
Well, because a lot of times these girls are not in connection with their families, and that is the problem, and they don't know who to turn to. Now they've gotten pregnant by either a boy or, God forbid, like I said, somebody older, and they don't have any recourse. What should they do?
There's got to be a better solution than what's being proposed now by the FDA.
This country is heading in a direction against abortion. States' rights are unraveling all of the things about Roe v. Wade that we require. So what are these kids supposed to do?
These are tough decisions that are not easy. And I got to tell you,
but you're
making that pill available is not the answer.
You would rather have a 13-year-old stay pregnant than have her take a pill.
I don't want
you would rather her drop.
No, absolutely not.
We agreed on that.
Yes.
Nobody wants her to get pregnant in the first place. When she gets pregnant, what do you want to to do about it? You want to make her keep the baby,
or
do you?
He doesn't have an answer. He just keeps saying family values.
I can't. It's a tough situation.
But Erica, let me ask you something. The president is usually very pro-science and everything. Why is he getting involved in this controversy?
I think he's on this issue. He is more conservative than I think a lot of people would like for him to be. I mean, this is a personal decision, and I'll tell you this: I don't think that Kathleen Sebelius should be overriding the FDA. The FDA made a decision, and this administration decided to override it, and then decided to continue to fight for that override.
It's taking the guts out of the FDA.
It
Good news
absolutely
on this one, the president is absolutely correct.
This is from a Republican.
So both you and the president want pregnant 13 or 14-year-olds.
I hope that you never have a 13-year-old who's in this situation.
It's a tough situation. I agree. It's a tough situation.
Made much tougher by forcing a 13-year-old child to carry a pregnancy.
Thank you very much for coming on. I very much enjoyed this. Next up, I'll talk with my View co-host, the lovely and talented Sherry Shepard. Stay there. Yeah.